throttle trigger about a quarter of the way back and accelerate for 2 seconds. Then apply the brake to stop. Let's try it. Now count out the 2 seconds while you're accelerating. 1001, 1002, and then brake. Let's try that again. 1001, 1002, and then brake. Notice that I'm barely pulling the trigger back to about a quarter throttle, and that my actions are very slow and gentle. If you accelerate too quickly, you could cause the engine to stall. There's a nice trail of blue smoke coming from the exhaust. This means our fuel mixture is set correctly, and the engine is getting enough fuel for proper lubrication. If you aren't seeing any smoke from the engine, or if it cuts out or stalls when accelerating, then richen the high-speed fuel mixture 1/4 turn and check again for smoke. Continue driving in this manner until the first tank of fuel is nearly empty. Always pay careful attention to the fuel level. You'll have to periodically bring the model in and check the fuel level. Never allow the fuel tank to run completely empty. When the fuel level is very low, it causes the mixture to be too lean. This could result in a burned out glow plug or extremely high engine temperatures. When the tank is nearly empty, bring the model in and shut off the engine by pinching the fuel line connected to the carburetor. Allow the engine to cool off for about 15 minutes before you refuel. From now on, we'll be running the model with the body on. Now we've already refueled, so let's start it up and drive. I'm going to be driving it just like I did the first tank of fuel, only this time I'm going to pull the trigger back to half throttle. Again, count out 2 seconds while you accelerate. It should take the entire 2 seconds to reach half throttle with the trigger. Keep your throttle motion smooth and accelerate and brake gently. Let's try it. 1001, 1002, then stop. 1001, 1002, then stop. When the tank is nearly empty, bring the model in and shut off the engine. Remember to simply pinch the fuel line connected to the carburetor. Let the engine cool for about 15 minutes. For the third tank of fuel in our break-in process, I'm going to reach 1/2 throttle on a 3 count instead of a 2 count. Now I'm still not pulling the throttle past halfway. 1001, 1002, 1003, and brake. 1001, 1002, 1003, and brake. As the engine begins to loosen, you may need to decrease the idle speed slightly. If the model won't stand still, use your tuning screwdriver to turn the idle screw counterclockwise to reduce the idle speed. When the tank is nearly empty, bring the model in, shut off the engine, and refuel. From here on, you don't have to let the engine cool between tanks. For tank 4, we're going to reach full throttle this time, over a 3 count, and then brake gently to stop. Make sure you reach full throttle gradually over the entire count of 3 so that you won't do a wheelie or flip the truck over. On models equipped with a 2-speed, the transmission may try to shift into second gear. If it does, let off the throttle. Remember to keep your driving smooth and consistent. When the 4th tank is nearly gone, bring the model in, shut off the engine, and refuel. Now it's starting to get fun. For this last tank in our break-in process, we'll be accelerating to full throttle for 3 seconds, and then holding it for 2 seconds before we brake to stop. Here we go. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, then brake. Again, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, and brake. Congratulations, your engine is broken in.